Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jai Gaur Premanande, Jai Natalila Bhishtam Vishwapad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Samstapik Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Jai Natalila Bhishtam Vishwapad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananda Gauri Vaishnavin Ki, Jai Sri Rup Sanatana Bhattaragana Sri Jeev Gopala Das Ragana Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko, Shama Kund Radha Kund, Giri Govardhana Ki, Prajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki, Sri Navadip Maya Pradham Ki, Sri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Gangamai Jamunamai Ki, Srimati Brindadevi Tulsi Maharani Ki, Srimati Bhakti Devi Ki, Sri Harinam Sankirtana Ki, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar Ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, ISKCON Naperville Ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Assembled Devotee. All glories to the Assembled Devotee. All glories to the Assembled Devotee. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Narasimha Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanand.
Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you all for coming. I am not here to take any of today's precious time. Neither am I going to give a formal introduction to His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj and His Grace Deena Bandu Prabhu. The only thing I just wanted to say very briefly is that many of us here, we have gone for parikram in Vrindavan with Maharaj, and many of us have experienced what it was to have His Grace Deena Bandu Prabhu along with His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj in those Vrindavan yatras. And I am sure all of us who have gone, we all have extraordinary fond memories of those experiences. And Maharaj has been speaking about Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes for quite some time in Naperville. And His Grace Deena Bandu Prabhu, as we all experienced, he is walking Vrindavan, breathing Vrindavan, and he lives in the memory of Vrindavan wherever he goes. So this is such an extraordinary opportunity for all of us, because it feels like the Vrindavan Yatra, what we all experienced, is brought to Naperville, and to see Maharaj and His Grace Deena Bandu Prabhu glorifying Krishna in our Naperville temple, Shri Radha Shyamasundar, Radha Madhav, and Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. This is such a super special occasion for all of us. With that, I just want to extend our warm welcome and deep gratitude to both Romapada Swami Maharaj and Deena Bandu Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I can't find the presentation. You know where to put it? You take the computer and see if you can find it, because I can't find it. It says start with Deena Bandu. That's how it starts. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jasodanandana Prajajanarandana Jasodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamuna Hiravana Yadi Jamunatira Bhanam Yadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjari Yadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Yadi Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivara Yadi Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Yamayasirana Yadi Yamayasirana Yadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Sadi Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Sadi Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijagacharya Astatarasata Simad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Gaur Premanandi. Happy to be with you all again. My voice is not so good, as you already heard, but I'm recovering. Compliments of antibiotics and home remedies and homeopathy. And so nice to be with you, and nice to be with Deena Bandu. Long awaited. I've been, as he's traveling here and traveling there. And did you know? Now you'll know. I had planned to be in Alashwa for Balaram Purnima, but I heard you were going, so I changed my plan. So that because your love for Balaram.
So we chose it. He's the most beautiful Balaram.
Really? Don't tell Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan.
Well, outside of Vrindavan.
Oh. Okay. Got your number. So, and this little exchange, we had some sharing before we began. If Krishna permits, that we go to Vrindavan next year with Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj for a yatra, Deena Bandu will know about our dates, and maybe he'll join us. It'll be a trio. But devotees that are on the platform of spontaneous devotion, you never know. You can make a plan and spontaneous devotion happens, and who knows, and maybe take a flight to the moon or something. Okay, so because I chose this topic, because for several weeks without break, we've been discussing, I've been speaking different places, on Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And following the mood of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, one might ask the question. I've been asked the question. We're so fallen, we're so this and that and the other thing and the other thing. And is it possible to attain the stage that these elevated devotees attained, and that only they knew about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, but Krishna revealed himself to them in Vrindavan in many different ways? And is that approachable by us? If not, the answer is yes. And one example, we're going to give two examples. One example, according to Raghunath Das Goswami, is the example of Sanatan Goswami. And some of you may have been with us for the disappearance day of Sanatan Goswami. We heard whole discussion on the qualifications of Sanatan Goswami. We're going to hear a little bit more just now. Here's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking about Sanatan Goswami. There was a point in time when Sanatan Goswami had become a mendicant from the position of Prime Minister of a third of India at the time, more or less. And he left all that and all the aristocracy, Chakvatormashesham Mandala Patishani Sada Tuchavat. He just gave it up, Tuchavat, and became a mendicant. And as a dedicated lover of Lord Chaitanya, he visited Lord Chaitanya at his invitation. You stay in Vrindavan for some time, and then sometime later you can come see me. So he came to Puri. And there was Sanatan Goswami and all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's speaking to Ramananda Roy, one of his chief associates, who said, this Sanatan Goswami's renunciation of material connections is just like yours. Meaning, Ramananda Roy was formerly a governor of Madras. Then it was called Madras, now it's called Chennai. So, but not just like a mayor of a city, but he was a leading personality in a large, important part of India. And he just gave it up to become a resident in Vrindavan, a resident in Puri with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And same did Sanatan. His renunciation of material connections is just like yours. Then he cites three qualities: dainya, or humility; renunciation, vairagya; and excellent learning, bandityera, exist in him simultaneously. Now maybe you know some very excellently learned persons, and sometimes they're not so humble. Have you come across that? They're a little proud, or more than a little proud, but excellent learning and humility and renunciation at the same time. They exist in him simultaneously. I empowered both of these brothers means Rupa and Sanatan, to go to Vrindavan and expand the literature of bhakti. So he's a model for us to look to for humility. Not that we can attain that to hit the degree that he attained, but is a model to look up to and to be the follower of. Similarly, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, there's this discussion. Sri Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, this Prabhupada's writing, the teacher of the science of devotional service, wrote several books, of which Brihat Bhagavatamrita is very famous. Anyone who wants to know about the subject matter of devotees, devotional service, and Krishna must read this book. So those of you that want to know what to read, you read Srila Prabhupada's books first. And if you become very accomplished and confident, and you're looking for what's next, there's a choice for you to read. What's next? Brihat Bhagavata. It's very elevated. You need a step ladder and binoculars to look at that subject matter. And he not only wrote the book, but he wrote a commentary on all the verses of the book. He was very accomplished. He did many other things. Now, there was some discussion in one of our home gatherings about one of the prominent things that we find in all of these personalities is humility. Elevated personalities, without exception, are humble. And another nice example of this is Gopal Bhatta, whose disappearance day we also experienced. Now, he is certainly well known for the self-manifesting deity of, look at how dapper dresser he is, Radharaman. Have you seen a deity quite nicely dressed like that? And go online. I invite you. I challenge you. Go online and see what's next in Radharaman's photogenic webpage. He is amazing, and the pujaris are amazing. How they decorate this deity. And he's very personable. He reciprocates. His whole manifestation was, with a long story made really short, Gopal Bhatta, had a desire to be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to him in a dream and said, if you would all desire my association, go to the river Gandaki in Nepal. And he had faith in the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He skipped the detail. He brought back 12 Shilas, and one day, would skip the detail because of time, the deity, the Shalagram Shila, the Damodar Shila amongst his 12, manifested a form that you see on the screen with such detail, such beautiful exhibition of features, very, very fine features. Skipping the detail. There's a whole presentation on the life of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He is a hero. And humility, because he was how to say nicely, he was the background writer, the actual author of 3 very important literatures. And he gave them to others to put it in a final publishing form with one request: don't mention my name. He did the work. He gave it to somebody else, and you take the credit. Just don't mention my name. Who's going to do that? Gopal Bhatta did it. And again, when the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita wanted the blessings of the Vaishnavas, he went to Gopal Bhatta. And Gopal Bhatta made the same request. Fine. You have my blessing on one condition. Don't mention my name. Picture of humility. So now a little bit more before we go to the main message of this. There's a set of prayers by Bhaktivinoda Thakur on the topic of Sharanagati. And the normal list that found in Padma Purana for the 6 limbs of surrender starts with accepting things favorable, rejecting things unfavorable. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. And at the bottom of the list is humility. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote his songs, he made it at the top of the list. Dainya, humility, as the antidote for pride. And this word, there's different words, Sanskrit words for the word pride, but a nice one is dam-pam. Even sounds like dam-pam. And it's mentioned in the book Manushiksha. Here's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing. The Sri Manushiksha has laid down a systematic procedure for one to enter into and become absorbed in the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. One should follow it without guile. Now, this is in response to the question that sometimes is asked, more than sometimes. Is this possible? We're Kali Yuga folks, and we're not born like Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami and little children. We were so elevated. Don't ask me what my past was. It wasn't like that. Is there any hope for us? Is there any hope for us? And not only there's hope, there's a roadmap. A GPS. Just put in the destination and follow the signals. And that's what Manashiksha is. We had a seminar here discussing Manashiksha, so this is a not completely new topic for many of you. The eternal residence in Vrindavan, absorbed in the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. That's the first three verses describing this, of this book, Manashiksha. The author is depicted here in his humility, taking rice from the side of the Jagannath temple where they would discard the rotten rice. It was so smelly they couldn't sell it in the shops, and he took the rice, washed it, and whatever was the hard core left inside, that was his meal. Raghunath Das. So, in this first verse, he has these two phrases, Sada Dambam Hitva. Again, Hitva is a word that means giving up. Sada, always. Dambam Hitva, give up pride in all circumstances of life. Give up pride. If you at all want to enter into the residence of Vrindavan with the eternal association of Radha and Krishna and their pastimes, give up pride. And Ratim Apurvam Atitaram. We'll see in a moment the meaning of these words. The confidential reasons. There are two reasons, external and internal reasons. The external, for spreading Krishna consciousness. The Lord's desire to appear was born from two reasons. The Lord wanted to taste the sweet essence of the mellows of love of God, and he wanted to propagate devotional service in the world on the platform of spontaneous attraction. Ragamarg. Thus, he is known as supremely jubilant, Rasika Shekhara, and is the most merciful of all. So, Raghunath Das Goswami wrote a book, and with instructions how to achieve this Ragamarg from a position that doesn't matter what the background is. You don't have to be born this or that or the other. Just have to be a spirit soul. That's pretty much all of us. And then follow the path. By hearing about the pure love of the residents of Braja, devotees will worship me on the path of spontaneous love, Ragamarg, abandoning all rituals of religiosity and fruitive activity. Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, has written in his prayers called Manashiksha that one should simply worship Radha Krishna with all attention. So here we go. That was all warm-up. Now comes the actual message. The qualifications of the inner path of attraction to Krishna in Vrindavan. Let's go. Here's the first verse with all of its nice Sanskrit, and see the colored coded letters. Sada Dambam Hitva. That's where the focus is going. Now this can be certainly expanded, but because of time it's not expanded. Just giving you the bullet points. Kuru Ratim Apurvam Atitaram. Kurum, in the word for word, please take. Ratim, delight or attachment. Apurvam, unprecedented or extraordinary. Atitaram, and intense. So unprecedented and excessive attachment is how the translation goes. Now, some of you were with us. Some of you may not have been with us. We conducted a seminar on Srimana Shiksha, and here's the explanation. I need a microphone, portable. It's coming out on that speaker? Okay, fantastic. Sounds like it's coming out of my computer.
Svamantre Shri Namni Prajanavayuvatvanvasharane Sadadambam Hitva Kururatim Apurvamatitaram Aye Svantar Pratash Chatubirabiya Chedritapada.
That's none other than our Mukunda. And the English translation is none other than his good wife.
Oh, dear brother, oh mine, having given up all pride, please develop unprecedented and excessive attachment to Sri Guru, to Sri Vrindavan, the abode of cows, to the devotee residents of Vrindavan, to all the devotees on this planet, to the confidential mantra given by Sri Guru, to the holy names of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, and to the process of surrendering to the fresh, youthful couple of Raja. Holding your feet, I beseech you with sweet words.
Now see, she's holding or reaching for the feet of her brother, the mind. Oh, brother, oh, dear mind, I beseech you with sweet words, please. Sometimes you have to get a little stronger than sweetly, but you get the idea. There's a direction to move in. Now, there's a number of points that are made, and because of our limited time, I'm not going to go into those points. But if you're interested, there's a whole recording on Manushiksha, and we go into details. Here's a little summary of the first number one. The process of worshiping, or worship, presented in verse 1 is a Ratim Apurvam Atitaram, or unprecedented great love, practiced nowhere else than in Braja. And from that intense and unprecedented love, how do you get there? How is this possible? Because we're far from that position. How can verse 1 be achieved? And moreover, who's eligible to achieve this perfectional stage of worship of Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan, entering into their eternal pastimes? Verse number 3.
Yadi cher avashtam vrajabhuvi saragam pratijanur yuvadvantvam tachchit paricharitum aradapilashe. स्वरूपं श्रीरूपं सगनमिह तस्याग्रजमपि स्फुटं प्रेम्णा नित्यं स्मरणमतदात्वं शृणु मना.
And the translation?
Listen, O mind. If you desire in every birth to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment and to serve the youthful couple of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in close proximity, then clearly remember and offer obeisances to Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa, and his associates in Vrindavan, and to Sri Rupa's elder brother, Sri Sanatan.
Any questions? The map is there, and there's one who had attained it, wanting us to attain it also, and the path is clear. Unprecedented attachment to these entities. And Sri Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana, his elder brother. Rupa Goswami looked to his elder brother like in Vedic culture, one looks to an elder brother like his guru. He treated his brother like his guru. And Swarup, that's Swarup Damodar, who trained. Okay, here comes our noisy curtain. Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Jai. He's right on time as always. And that means I have another 15 minutes to include questions and finish. That's what it means for me as a speaker. So, Swarup Damodar trained. It's by the compliments of Swarup Damodar that we know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life. Here's how that happened. Raghunath Das Goswami escaped his father's wealth, and he had to run away many times, and he finally, by the grace of Lord Nityananda, he made it. And in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he accepted him, he gave him instructions, and said, here's Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar, you take care of him. From this day forward, you're now the Raghu of Swarup. Because apparently there were several Raghunaths in Puri at the time. You're the Raghu of Swarup. And so, for a number of years, something like 16 years, he, every day was in the association of Swarup Damodar, who understood everything about Lord Chaitanya's ecstasies, his moods, his inner contemplations, his everything. It is everything. He not only the external, but what was going on internally. Swarup Damodar understood it because he was an intimate associate, and he sang songs to augment and amplify the emotions of Chaitanya. He knew his everything, and he passed all that on to Raghunath Das, who, when Lord Chaitanya left this world, Raghunath Das couldn't bear living in his absence. So he decided to go to Vrindavan, take the blessings of Rupa and Sanatan, and give up his life, jumping off Govardhan Hill out of separation. Rupa Goswami could understand his mood. He didn't even have to tell him his plan. No, you can't do this. If liberation was so simple, we'd all join you, but that's not how you get freedom from the bondage of material existence. You have been with Lord Chaitanya for all these years. We've been in separation from him. You have to inform us all of what he did and all of his emotions and everything. So every day, this is an instruction. Every day, 3-4 hours every day. You sit here underneath this tree and you recite his pastimes. Thank you very much. So he did. And in the audience, Krishnadas, Kaviraj, who then wrote it. Otherwise we wouldn't know. And it's absolutely authoritative. So we know, by the mercy of Raghunath Das Goswami, who received what he received in the method he's described. Now, one of the phrases that's in the verse is pratijanur, which means life after life. A very nice example, fantastic example, life after life, is Rukmini. Rukmini wrote a letter to Krishna. Poor Rukmini. Her brother Rukmi wanted her to marry someone. No way is she going to marry that abominable person. She heard about Krishna. He's a suitable person to be married. And it's not possible to gain Krishna in this life. She was prepared to die from austerities, lifetime after lifetime. If I cannot obtain your mercy, I shall simply give up my vital force. Then, after hundreds of lifetimes of endeavor, I may obtain your mercy. So she gave a plan. You know the story. Krishna was in Mathura after 17 times being attacked by Jarasandha. The 18th time, he ran from the battlefield. Why did he run from the battlefield? It was time to marry Rukmini. We're going to bother with this fellow. Take care of him later. And he went and married Rukmini. He got this letter and off he goes. In a very clever way. She was a smart lady. Goddess of fortune. Smart lady, to say the least. So that's the recommendation for this combination with the personality of Godhead. Pratijanur, lifetime after lifetime. It may not happen quickly, that's okay. Be very determined. Not necessarily, I can't wait for so many lifetimes, more lifetimes, please. So whatever it takes, the commitment, whatever it takes. And here's our final slide. We're all very familiar. We'll say the verse together. Nadanam nadanam jasundarim kavitam bhajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahaitaki tvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught the same thing. The language is different, but that's the path. The path of coming to this position of unprecedented love and attachment to the personality of Godhead. And that's the ticket, that's the price, to enter into that abode of the Supreme Lord, along with all the other features and items that are mentioned. So the topic, circling back to the very beginning, the topic I thought to speak about is considering Deena Bandu and you just touch him and you're in Vrindavan. You're about to see him and you're in Vrindavan. You're in Vrindavan. He just brings, I was told, he brings Vrindavan dust with him and showers and sprinkles Vrindavan dust just by his presence. Brijvasi. So having that kind of affinity and attachment for the abode of the Supreme Lord and the associates of the Supreme Lord and the personalities who have taken part in his pastimes, this path of Raga Bhakti. It comes gradually, but we're engaged in that process. We're following those leaders that will take us to that place. Stay with the process. It's a nice journey. There's some bumps in the road, but that's okay. Now, I have two choices. I'm going to stop and see if there's some questions, or otherwise I can just turn the microphone over to Deena Bandu and they'll have a little more time to speak. You used to seeing me all the time anyways. You're not used to seeing him. Okay, no questions. Great. So Deena Bandu, you're on.
Hare Krishna. One point I wanted to make was that Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that was translated in Govardhan by my very, very dear, our very, very dear, departed god brother Gopi Pranadhana, along with the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Somebody writes the scripture, somebody else comments, you don't know if he actually caught the idea of the author, but here the author has given a commentary. And this is the first book that BBT has published that wasn't written by Srila Prabhupada. So this is such an important literature. Hare Krishna. So anyway, just to put us in Braj mood, there's a very beautiful song that was very favorite of Srila Prabhupada, one of his favorites. So if you're having your devices, first of all, you can keep them all on silent, because these babies have a way of crying in the middle of the katha. And you can look for Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Sri Vrindavan. This is a very special song. We're outside of Vrindavan. Just to remember, in Vrindavan we sing this. And when we're in Vrindavan, we can sit in some beautiful place underneath the kadamba trees and hearing the peacocks and Jamunas flowing sweetly by. It has got a very special taste. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Moha. Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan. Keshigata Bamsi Bata Dvadashakana. Wow. sabalila koilo Srinandananda. Srinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagam. Sri Damadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsaga. Jaya Brisabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Brisabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari. Jaya Abhira Nagari. Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavanama. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhattu Dvijara. Saka Bhattu Dvijara. Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda. Rohini Nanda. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jaya. Vrindavana Vasi Jaya Dvija Padni Jaya Naga Kanyaga. Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govinda Chara. Sri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam. Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manoram. Jayo Jayo Jwala Rasa Sarva rasa rasa sarva rasa parakiya bhave jaha brajete prachar. Shri Janava Pada Padma Gaudiya Smaran Pada Padma Gaudiya Smaran Deena Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinata Madana Mohan. Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham. Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham, Jai Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. So this very beautiful bhajan, if you go to Vrindavan, when you come back here to Naperville and you chant this song, then you will see all these places coming like slideshow in the heart. Ping, ping, ping. Can you put something underneath the mridanga? It shouldn't be put on the floor like that. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svaparandigam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So I was meditating on a pastime of Srila Prabhupada to tell. This is not in any of the memory series, this devotee, Kartikeya, he's no longer in this world, but he personally told me this story. Because he was very, very humble devotee. We were just discussing humility, huh? He was very, very humble devotee. And he was, in the very, very old days, he was cooking for Srila Prabhupada. And one time they went to Hawaii. And one day, Govindadasi came back from the market with some wheat germ. Now, I've never met anybody in bars who knew what wheat germ is. Anyway, it's not suji, it's not cream of wheat. That's the important thing of this particular pastime. So Kartikeya thought, oh, next time Swamiji, that's the old days, so before he was called Prabhupada, he says, next time Swamiji asks for halava, I'm going to make it with the wheat germ instead of with the suji. So one day it rained, so rain means it gets a little cold, and so Prabhupada liked halava because it's full of grains and ghee and keeps you nice and warm. So he asked Kartikeya to make some halava. So Kartikeya went into the kitchen and he was singing, oh, I'm going to make it with the wheat germ and Swamiji will be so pleased. This was his whole bhav. Swamiji will be so pleased, really going to like this. You know, I'm going to make it with the wheat germ. With the wheat germ instead of the suji. His whole bhav was like that. He offered to Krishna, then he put it in a bowl and he brought it into Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada took one look and said, what is this? Halava means suji. Halava means suji. With his left hand, he said, take it out. Now, if you reject something by left hand, that's very heavy. And Kartikeya, I'm not sure where he was from, maybe Indonesia or someplace. He had nice olive skin, he was a little dark, but he was a very, very sensitive devotee. So his whole bhav was, Swamiji would be so pleased and Prabhupada is upset. His heart just completely collapsed. He didn't know what to do. He was completely shattered. So he went into the temple and he sat in front of the altar, in front of the picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And he began to pray that I was just trying to please your spiritual son, Swamiji. But somehow he's become completely upset with me. I don't know what to do. He began to cry. He was very sensitive devotee, emotional. Suddenly he heard Prabhupada's voice, Kartikeya? Kartikeya? He ran to Prabhupada's room. He said, bring that halava. He brought the bowl of halava. Prabhupada ate the whole thing, ping, 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 with great gusto. Then he said, bring some more. So he brought another bowl. Prabhupada finished off the whole pot of halava. So Kartikeya told me he learned two things from this. One, he was sitting in front of the picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and praying to him. Prabhupada is not alone. There's a whole line of spiritual masters all the way up to the lotus feet of Krishna, handing us the rope to get us out of this dark material world of Kali Yuga. They're all handed, they're a whole line of spiritual masters. And the second thing I learned was that Prabhupada said the grandfather is more merciful than the father. So you're all thinking, that you guys are very fortunate. You and Maharaj, you saw Prabhupada, you got to talk with him, you got to be with him. We're so unfortunate, we didn't get that opportunity. Don't think like that. You're more fortunate to us. You have Prabhupada as your grandfather's spiritual master. He'll be more merciful to you than to us. So you're not unfortunate, you're very fortunate. Don't ever think that you're unfortunate. You have Prabhupada as your grandfather's spiritual master. And I see it, as the second generation doing so many wonderful things. This is all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki! So seeing this beautiful deity of Mahaprabhu on the altar, I was thinking about one very wonderful verse. I just popped in, as soon as I saw the deity, that I hadn't remembered this verse for a long time. I believe it may be in Radharasa Siddhunidhi. I think it's written. It may be there, some great Vaishnava has written it. Nindatvan pulakot karena vikasam nipa prasuna chaprim prodi kricha buja dvayam hari hari ruchayar vedantam muhu Nrityatam drutamhasu nirjarachayai sinchantam urbi salam gayantam nija parsharai parivirtam Sri Gaura Chandra Numa. He says, Nindatvam pulako karena vikasam nipa prasunashami. Nipa is another word for kadamba. And if you go to Vrindavan when it's nice and cool, it's only 45, 50 degrees. That means what, 120, 130, something like that. I've forgotten Fahrenheit now. You'll see the beautiful kadamba flowers. Because kadamba is not one flower, it's a whole ball of flowers. Yeah. And 100 little flowers in a ball, just the color of Srimati Radhika. And it has such a wonderful scent. Krishna loves garlands of kadamba flowers. And then so that's June. Then July, when it rains, if there's nice rain, again, the kadamba flowers. They're so beautiful. So it says, and actually you see because I said there's so many flowers, it's like up and down and up and down and up and down. So here it says, Pulakot. Maybe you remember from one other song, that means the hairs are standing on end. So Mahaprabhu, he's golden in complexion. His hairs are standing on end, just like the kadamba flower. You see it's up and down like that. And then there's little, I guess it's a stamen sticking out like this, you'll see. So that kadamba flower is just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he's in ecstasy. Oh, now just to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. So we just heard how beautiful. He says, Prasuna, you have a whole bunch of these kadamba flowers. Nindatvam. We all know Ninda. This is our favorite one, huh? We love Ninda. Oh, I read it on the internet. Did you hear? Wow, wow, wow. Nindatvam. We just described how beautiful these kadamba flowers are, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's complexion criticizes, blasphemes those beautiful. If you have a whole bunch of beautiful kadamba flowers, his complexion blasphemes those. Prodi kritya bhuja dvayam. Bhuja, you know, dvayam, you can figure out too. His two arms are raised to the sky. Prodi kritya bhuja dvayam. Hari hari uchayar vedantam mahu. Uchayar, just like, you know, uvacha, comes from this word, uchayar. He's chanting. Muhu means again and again. Hari Hari Uchayar Varanta Muhu. He's got his both arms raised, and with his voice he's singing Hari Hari, Hari Hari, in a raised voice again and again. Prodi Kricha Bhuja Dvayam Hari Hari Uchayar Varanta Muhu. Nritya Tam Drutam Asu Nirjara Chayai Sinchantam Urbi Talam. That Nritya Tam Drutam, he's dancing very wildly. It says Drutam. Prabhupada describes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita like a firebrand. Sometimes in the old days, now they stopped it because they're afraid, you know, something may happen and CNN will come all over the world that somebody got burned. But in the Rath Yatra, they used to have one guy he had this chain, with little chains in between, two chains like this, and 3 balls of cotton or something with coconut oil lit on fire, and he would spin it around. It looked like just a circle like that. That's a firebrand. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nritya tam nritya, you know, dancing. He's dancing wildly. Nritya tam drutam asu nirjara chaya. Nirjara means the waterfall. Tears are flowing from Mahaprabhu's eyes just like a waterfall. It appears that Ganga that previously came from the toe of Lord Vishnu is now coming from the eyes of Mahaprabhu. In Sinchantam, just like, for those who don't know Hindi, the irrigation department is a Sinchai Vibhag. So Sinchantam Urbi Talam. Urbi is another word for this earth. Because we met someone yesterday named Urvi. Urvi is another name for Urvi. Sinchantam Urvi Talam. Just like we know Bhutal. Tal is surface. The surface of the earth is becoming completely wet with the tears of Mahaprabhu. Drutam Nirjarachai Sinchantam Urvi Talam Gayantam nija parsharai parivritam. He's singing surrounded by his associates. Just like we see this beautiful picture of Panchatattva Mahaprabhu surrounded by all his associates. Gayantam nija parsharai parivritam Sri Gaura Chandra Numa. Just like we all know Nama, but Numa means to glorify. I glorify that Gaura Chandra. So when I saw this deity, immediately that verse, I hadn't thought of this verse for years, but I don't know, maybe for months, but anyway, as soon as I saw him, I saw this nice, this verse came to my mind. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki! So, as you all know, our latest book is about Govardhan, and one place in Govardhan is very special, as we're talking about Raghunath Das Goswami. He lived there in Govardhan for many, many years, and especially in Radhakund he stayed, specifically in Radhakund he stayed for many, many years. So there's a very interesting pastime how Radhakund appeared. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was on Prikrama, we were talking yesterday to the young people all about Bahulavan. So after Bahulavan, Mahaprabhu headed towards Govardhan. And he was on Prikrama just like you, except he didn't go by AC bus and car. He went by his bare feet with his arms raised, chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he was totally lost in ecstasy, no external consciousness. As they approached the end of Govardhan, they came to some village, and Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was going with Mahaprabhu, he asked one villager, what is the name of this place? And the villager said, it is known as Aritgram. As soon as the sound of Ritgram entered Mahaprabhu's ear, he returned to his external consciousness. And he asked everyone, where's Radhakund and Shyamakund? But they were lost to the eyes of the world. Nobody could tell. Why did he think of Radhakund and Shyamakund hearing the word Aritgram? Because the original name of this place is Aristagram, named after Aristasura, who was a great big demon who came in the form of a bull. So, and we heard that Radhakund is a very, very sweet Madhurya rest place. Why, thinking of some demon, did Mahaprabhu think of Radhakund and Shyamakund? Because what had happened, and Jiva Goswami explains that in his commentaries, that it was on the Chaitra Purnima night, just like Falgun is Purnima is Mahaprabhu's appearance. Next Purnima is Chaitra Purnima. On the Chaitra Purnima night, Krishna came to the end of Govardhan Hill. And he wanted to do Ras with all the gopis. He was dressed up just like a dancing actor, Natavar. Just like, where did we see Radha Natavar? Oh, in Columbus, Ohio, they have beautiful deities, Radha Natavar, and also in somewhere in not Nashville, but in Tennessee. What is that? Murfreesboro. You can see Radha Natavar. So Krishna was dressed up just like a dancing actor, with his beautiful sash and nice pitambar dhoti and nice kurta and nice shawl. When he got the news that this Aristasura was terrorizing the Brijvasis. So this terrorism is not a new thing. Yeah. This has been going on for the last at least 5,000 years anyway. This was Arista bin Laden. He was tearing up the earth with his hooves. He was smashing the Brijvasi houses with his horns. His tail was swatting the clouds here and there. By his roaring, the cows and the Brijvasanis had miscarriages. And he took one look at Krishna, and he began to paw the earth. And he aimed his horns and he began charging at Krishna. And Nectar Devotion describes Krishna simply put his hand on his friend's shoulder. He wasn't at all frightened by this guy. Just very nonchalantly, he just put his hand on his shoulder. And that Aristabhura charged and he grabbed him by the horns. Nectar Devotion also describes that Krishna is very clever. He knows that to control a bull, you have to be control of the horns. So he took him by the horns, swung him around and around and around, and just by the centrifugal force, his life air passed out of his body, and Krishna smashed him on the ground, pulled out one of his horns and bashed him and stomped on him like a wet sponge. And passing stool and urine simultaneously, he went to the kingdom of death. Then Krishna said, all right. He told Radharani and all the gopis, now we can do Ras. And Radharani said, we cannot be associated with you. You have done a big pop. You know pop? Coca-Cola 7-Up? No. Pop means sin. You have done a big pop. And Krishna said, what sin did I do? He said, you killed a bull. That is a big sin. That wasn't a bull. That was a demon in the form of a bull. May have been a demon, but he was in the form of the bull. So you have done a big pop. But that was not a bull. That was a demon. And Radharani said, well, we heard from Mother Purnamasi that one time Indra, he killed one demon. Remember that Vritrasura, He was a Brahmin. He got reaction. That old lady coughing blood with tuberculosis came chasing after him. He had to hide for thousands of years in the lake of lotuses. He got reaction. The Krishna said, so what do I have to do to get free from this sin? So Radharani and all the gopis, they consulted one another. He said, you will have to take bath in all the sacred places of the universe. And Krishna said, Are, that will take a long time. How can I be away from you girls for so long? And said, I will make a depression and call all the sacred places here and take my bath in one place. And Radharani Gopi said, oh, Shamsundar, don't try to fool us with your magic. We don't believe in your magic. And then Krishna played on his flute, and all the sacred places personified appeared with their hands folded. Any seva, Maharaj? Any service for us? He says, yes. Krishna took his right foot, and he stomped a big depression into the ground. He said, I want you to you give your introduction, chant your mantra, and pour your water in my kund. So everyone came forward. Somebody said, I'm Narmada. Somebody Sindhu, Kaveri, Jamuna, Ganga, Puskar. All the sacred places, the whole universe came, gave their introduction, chanted their mantra, and poured their water in Krishna's kund. And Krishna, without any words, just by his eyes, he was showing all the gopis. Because when we have love, we don't need words. Just like when we're angry, then we shout at one another. We're standing amne samne, right in front of each other, but we shout. Why? Because our hearts have gone far away. But when we have love, then we just speak with sweet little words. Or sometimes without even words, just by our eyes. So Krishna, just by his eyes. See, I told you, they're coming. You see, they're coming. So this went on for a long time, almost to the midnight. So then Krishna, he took his bath in all the water of the sacred places of the universe. So then he invited Radharani and the Sakhis, you come in and we'll enjoy Jalakeli, water pastimes. Just like you all know Pani, but in Bengali we say Jal. But I think the first word in Hindi that our foreign devotees learn is Pani. Oh Prabhu, where's Pani? So we'll do Jalakeli, water pastimes. And Radharani said, this kund is contaminated with your sin. how we can come in this kund? We're going to make our own kund. So there was a place where Rishasura had dug his hoof into the ground. So Radharani broke her golden bangle and began to dig. So golden bangle means kankan. And so all the gopis, they broke their kankans and they also began to dig. And within a short amount of time, they had a very beautiful kund. Very beautiful hole in the ground. And Krishna said, your kund is very beautiful, but there's no water in it. And Radharani said, we're going to get gold and silver water pots and hundreds and thousands of gopis. We're going to make one line going, one line coming. We'll bring water from Manasi Ganga. Just nearby in the town of Govardhan, there's a beautiful lake called Manasi Ganga. We told that pastime the other day. But Krishna, he doesn't like to see Radharani or the Sakhis performing any type of work. He can't bear to see a bead of perspiration come on Radharani's forehead. So he signaled to all those sacred places personified. They became one personality. And they went before Srimati Radharani and began to offer beautiful prayers to her. And Radharani, she saw this fellow has come from Krishna's side. She was, what do you want? He said, we thought that the perfection of life was to be associated with the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Because when Krishna bathed in all the holy places, he became purified. Yes? Da? Niet. All the holy places became purified because Krishna bathed in them. But now, seeing your divine, wonderful qualities and seeing Sham Sundar's amazing devotion for your lotus feet, we can understand the real perfection of life is to be associated with your lotus feet. So what do you want? He said, we want to come in your kund. Then she smiled at Sri Krishna and she shook her head. You have to know. Sometimes it means no, sometimes it means yes. You have to know the bhav. So they broke a hole through the wall of Shamakund, and all the water from Shamakund poured into Radhakund. And it's like if you go there, you can see at the Sangam, there's a big white dome there, and the stairways you can see underneath to Shamakund. And we were very fortunate one time. We saw in 1987, the first time that I saw the cleaning of Radhakund. They pumped all the water out. And you'd be surprised how deep it is, how many stairs go down and down and down. And in the middle, we saw Kankan Kund. They did the cleaning again in 2010, I believe. If you go on YouTube and you type in either Kankan Kund or Kangan Kund, it's sometimes spelled one way or the other way, you can see that original Kankan Kund in the bottom of Radhakund. And you'll see waters coming from springs all from every corner of Radhakund, filling that little Kankan Kund. So we went down. We waded into mud up to our calves. We pulled up all our dhotis and saris, and we waded into we just circumambulated that Kangan Kund. With us was Ram Roy, from the Kirtan party in New York, He just jumped into his gamcha and jumped. And we saw some flags somewhere. And all the Brijvasis were yelling at me. I thought because they were, scooping all the mud out, they had, several chains of devotees. I thought we were being a disturbance or something. And all of a sudden, they were all yelling at me. And suddenly I stepped and there was nothing underneath my foot. I went, up beyond my thigh in the mud because there was a hole there. That's why all the flags were there and everybody was yelling. I thought we were a disturbance to their work. And the more I struggled, the more it started sinking. So finally, somehow or other, I found some solid ground and pulled my leg out. And then Another devotee was with me, Kripanidhi, and we could see the hole between Radhakund and Shamakund. So we ran back and forth between the Radhakund. I think we're the only ISKCON devotees who ever did this. So they all pleaded that we want to be in your Kund. So they broke through the wall, you can see, and it filled up. And Radharani told Krishna that your Kund is very beautiful, and we will always come and take our bath in your Kund. And Krishna said, your Kund is very beautiful, and I will always take my bath in your Kund. And your Kund will become more glorious than my Kund. You ever hear anybody say, I'm going to Shamakund today? You ever heard anybody say, no? Where are you going? Radhakund. You see, the SBI is there. Radhakund branch. Doesn't say Shamakund branch. So Radha's Kund became more famous than Krishna's Kund. So remembering all these things, Mahaprabhu sat underneath the tamal tree, and he saw there was 2 paddy fields. One was called Kali, and one was called Gori. So Kali we know means blackish. That was Shamakund. They were 2 paddy fields. The other Gori, golden. So that was Radhakund. So Mahaprabhu went down, and whatever water was there, he began to bathe in the paddy fields. And all the people were amazed. What is this sannyasi doing? And then he chanted so many beautiful prayers. You can go, now we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. In whatever language you speak, you can go and learn these prayers. Sava gopi haite radha krishna ra priyasi, taiche radha kunda priya priya rasarasi. Sava gopi, of all the gopis, Sava gopi haite radha krishna ra priyasi. Radharani is most dear to Krishna. Taiche radha kunda priya priya rasa. In the same way, this lake known as Radhakund is just as dear to Krishna. From Padma Puran, Yata radha priya vishnu stasya kundam priyam tata sarva gopishu saivaika vishnu ratyanta ballava. Yata radha priya vishnu, just as Radha is very dear to Vishnu or Krishna. Yata radha priya vishnu tasya kundam priyam tata. This kund is just as dear to Krishna as Radha. Sarva gopishu saivaika. We know sarva means all. Sarva gopishu saivaika ek. There's one, Vishnu atyanta ballava. When we want to say the mostest of anything, then we say atyant. She's the most belovedest of Krishna. Sabha gopi, but no, we already did that one. Oh, this is a very sweet one. E kunde nitya Krishna radhikara sange jale jala kele kore tire rasarange. From reading Prabhupada's books, even if you know Hindi, you can understand this Bengali. Krishnadasa's Kaviraj's Bengali is so sweet, it's so amazing. Even if you study Bengali literature, you have to study Chaitanya Charitamrita because there's nothing like it. In very sweet, simple language, he is explaining the deep truths of Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Because ordinarily, if you talk about philosophy, then you have to use big, big words and everybody goes... And if you make it very sweet, then it becomes very flowery and flowery and flowery. But he says true eloquence is the absolute truth spoken simply. His literature is unique in Bengali literature. You have to study Chaitanya Charitamrita. So just from reading Prabhupada's books and hearing a few words, even who doesn't know Hindi, he can understand. E kunde, in this kund, e kunde nitya, always Krishna, radhikara sange, you can understand, radhikara sange. Jale, is like we said, in Bengali you say jal, in Hindi we say pani. But in the jal, jale, jalakeli, in the water, they were doing water pastimes, tire. We know, every day we sing, Jabuna tira, on the banks. Ras Arangi, on the banks they were doing ras. Even without knowing Bengali, you can understand this verse. E kunde nitya Krishna radhika rasange jale jala kele kore tire rasa range e kunde E kunde je ek bara kore snan thanda rada sama prema Krishna kore dan. Krishna is giving charity. Just like whenever you go to Radhakund, so many Brahmins will come to take charity from you. But Krishna is giving charity. What is that? Ekunde se ek bara kore snan. If somebody takes one time snan, bath in this kund, ek bar kore snan, tanda radha sama prema. Where did we hear the word sama? In Bhagavad Gita? Samoham sarvabhya. I'm equal to everyone, Radha sama prema Krishna kori. Krishna gives charity, that prem equal to Radharani's prem. She gives in charity. Kundara mahima yena Radhara mahima. Kundara madhuri yena Radhara madhurima. The glories of this kund is just as glorious as the mahima, the glories of Radharani. Or the sweetness of this kund is just as sweet as the sweetness, madhurima, of Radharani. Singing all these beautiful prayers, Mahaprabhu took his bath and then marked his body with the tilak of Radhakund and scooped up one bunch to carry with him. In this way, he revealed Radhakund and Shyamakund to the eyes of the world. Sri Radhakund Shyamakund ki jai. So you can learn all these beautiful prayers in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Whatever language you speak, it's there. How much time we have? 60 minutes, okay. Anyway, Raghunath has written so many beautiful, Raghunath Das Goswami written so many beautiful prayers about Radhakund. And he stayed there. He was the one who got the kunds fixed, because he was thinking that in the future people will come here from America, from Russia, from all over India. They will come here from Italy, from UK, from so many places, Japan, China, Australia, from Patala Loka they'll come. There's no proper gas, there's no proper, stairs or anything. He said, if I got some money, then I would fix it up. Then he thought, oh God, I'm thinking about money again. Because we just heard how he had opulence greater than the king of heaven. So he became Mohan. Meanwhile, one Bengali merchant went to Badrinath to give a big donation to Badrinath. And Badrinath came in his dream and said, don't give it here. You go to Vrindavan. You find out Sanatana Goswami and Radhakund. Raghunath Das Goswami and Radhakund, and give that money to him. He won't take it. Then you tell him, Lord knows your desire to fix the kunds. So there was no Indigo airline. Somehow or other he got to Vrindavan. There was no, Brisbasi taxi service, but somehow he got to Radhakund. He found out Raghunath Das Goswami. He said, I have a big donation for you. And Raghunath Das said, wherever you came from, you please go back. I don't want to see your money. And he said, Lord knows your desire to fix the kunds. And he said, yes. Hand it here. So he got all the kunds fixed up, and nice ghats made. And lately the government has done wonderful carved stone all around the ghats and fixed up all the ghats and nice dwars and everything. Very, very beautiful place now. Okay. Well, I just told the actual appearance, according to Jiva Goswami, is Chaitra Purnima. Because it appeared when Krishna killed Aristasura, and that was done on Chaitra Purnima. And my older brothers and sisters who lived in Vrindavan long before me, I didn't come till 84, they said Prabhupada took them on Prikrama. He took them to Radhakund. He pointed with his cane. He said, this is Radhakund. And everybody jumped into their bathing, paraphernalia and jumped in the water. The only thing Prabhupada did with his cane, because everybody forgot their bodies, he just said, he tried to get the girls to go one side and the boys to go the other side. Everybody they just forgot their bodies and jumped in the Kund. And Prabhupada didn't say anything other than that. Later, since Westerners are very playful, we were doing backflips and cannonballs and 1.5s and jumping and splashing, and Prabhupada became very upset and he said, just take 3 drops. But if you look in the database, because you remember Prabhupada left shortly after Govardhan Puja. So he wanted to go on Govardhan Prikrama. Somehow they convinced him it's not possible. So he said, the devotees will go. And because Kinchana Krishnadas Babaji, Prabhupada's very dear friend, he came and says, well, Prabhupada, you can't do it. It's not possible. So he said, no, the devotees will go. And Prabhupada said, Krishnadas will be my representative. And then you can read in the conversation there, Tamal Krishna says to Prabhupada, we'll see Kusum Sarovar, we'll see Manasi Ganga, we'll see Govinda Kund, and then he says, we'll see Radha Kund. And Prabhupada says, yes, you all go take bath on my behalf. So this is my version of the final order. We can take Ritvik Snan and Radha, but please do it very reverently. And of course, take permission from your spiritual master. But Prabhupada, you can see it's there in the database. Prabhupada said, go take bath on my behalf. So that's the final order. And everybody thinks that Bahulastami, but there's just a verse in Padma Puran that says that if on the Bahulastami Titi, doesn't say midnight or anything about appearance, says if someone takes bath, he'll become very dear to Radharani. That's all it says. And if you go there, you'll see all the villagers throwing these squash called peta in the water. And because there's a special deity there named Hoy Devi, and this is a fertility rite because they went that in they're throwing peta in hopes that in the pate of their wife there'll come a child. So some fertility thing, and somehow the Vaishnava thing got all mixed up together. But actual, according to Tila Jiva Goswami, is Chaitra Purnima. Because if you go on Bahulastami night, the last time I went, it took us an hour just to get near the Kund. So it's just too crowded. And now devotees have started going on Chaitra Purnima night, very peacefully bathing in Radhakund and Shamakund. So anyway, we'll put our voice to rest here. Oh yeah, we have our latest book with us, Braj Leela, Volume 3, Giriraj, the King of Mountains. 1 and 2 is, I have the right out of print. We have to get to that when we get back. But they're available still on Amazon. And they have maybe 12 pictures in 1 and 2. But everyone loves Arjun Bhattacharya's wonderful pictures. So we decided to make it a picture book. So there's 284 color prints. And 32 beautiful color paintings. We had to get permission from BBT to use them. And we researched and went through Goswami literature, and Braj Bhakti Vilas gives the Pranam mantras and Achman mantras for every place in Braj, what to speak of Govardhan. And it gives mantras for places that nobody knows where they are. Even in 400 or 500 years, things have gotten lost. So now we have a visual record of whatever we could find. Only one place I could never find. Somewhere on the way to, just before you reach Anyor, there's a big kund that's always dry. And the kids are always playing cricket in it, so I call it Cricket Kund. But I couldn't find any information about it. But anyway, otherwise, whatever place we could find is here. And it has 530 pages of nectar. And we're only asking small donation of $25. And you can pay any way you can, not just cash, but credit card, tapping, QR code. So many things are there. Anyway, anyhow. And you can take this book home with you. And I'm here tonight to sign it if you want to take a copy with you. So outside the door, we'll have a bookstall there. For anyone who's take a copy. We just gave one to Maharaj also.
I plan to read it. Leave it with it. The Prabhupada ki
Jai. Hari Hari Bo.
You travel.
Huh? Yeah, tomorrow. This is the first time since we've been in the States we're taking a flight. Everything else we've done all the way down to here was by car. Well, by last we'll go by car. We go to the flight in the morning tomorrow. The flight will come in. The flight running is going to take us from flight car to
Maybe I'll get that.